for joining me back here at Tiny Little Homestead. I'm so glad you came back. Today's planting day. Well, probably won't get all the plans in today, but we're going to start planting. And I've got my seeds here, I've got my catalogs, and I've got my journal. Now every year I sit down and I sketch out a little journal, what I would like to do for the garden each year. And this year, the garden has doubled since last year, and I have my wind chimes are really going to town today. I'm so sorry. But anyway, the garden needs some help, and we're going to start planning on... I love my wind chimes. I feel like angels are with us when they start chiming. Anyway, we're going to start working on planning the garden. So it's the best time to start, because even though it's freezing outside, we still get excited about the next garden, right? I don't know if you do, but I do. Most gardeners do. And so when we're locked inside because it's so cold, or there's not a whole lot we can do in the garden, it's planting season. So that's what I'm going to start doing today. I'm going to just go through and look at my inventory of seeds. I've got a ton of seeds. I have them, and I'm sure you've seen them. Everybody kind of keeps their seeds in these little containers, and you can get this at Hobby Lobby. It's usually on sale for half off. So I think it was, I can't even remember how much it was. It wasn't even it wasn't close to $30. I think I might have got it on sale for $15. But it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16 containers. 16 of these containers, and like a whole plastic suitcase. So the suitcase is like this. Has a little, kind of snaps and locks like a little tote, and but it's easier to keep my seeds that way in these little containers, and then I can just kind of keep it in a cool closet in the tiny house. I also have a ton, and I mean a ton, of seeds that we've been saving, and I probably need to figure out another method for this. Sure, keeping them in plastic is not the best, but I mean, there's probably 100 different seed varieties here. Radishes, okra, squash, watermelon, cucumbers, tomatoes. I mean, everything I could possibly want is here. So I do have tons of seeds. I have my catalogs here. Now these are old catalogs, but they usually have the same variety. So I just kind of make a list. This is 2020. I'm going to keep that because that's probably going to be a collector's item, that 2020 catalog, because of the virus. So I'm going to keep that. Same with Johnny's and Southern Exposure, and this is a really good one. I love this because it has fruits and flowers, trees and such, and so even though it's old, they still have a lot of the same varieties every year. So, and then I've got my little journal here. Like I said, every year I sketch out my plan, my dream, whatever it should be. Sometimes I just like to do a little bit of art. So stuff like that. Yeah, 2020 garden dreams, yeah, visions. So really want to do some roses and wildflowers and all kinds of edible flowers and such. So today is the start of the planting season. So it is Sunday the 14th, and we are going to get that underway. And I hope that if you are planting a garden, that you too will sit down and get you a little journal, a piece of paper even, write it on a napkin. That's kind of how I started, writing my dreams on a napkin. I kind of do like where my beds are. I guess this is a rough sketch and this is not too size, but yeah, so I do the same thing here. I wrote down what I planted where. Usually I journal how they did. Sometimes I just start dreaming and wanting to grow in all kinds of other ways. So so yeah, that's my plan today. So I hope that you are planning your homestead garden too. prices are not going to go down in a hurry, so we need to start growing our food. And some people are saying those probably need to go away. Not sure. Some people are saying, you know, you can go ahead and start gardening. You know, we have spring-like weather. Now is a good time to start getting your seeds in the ground or in containers or what have you. I know it's cold and it's winter. Winter is not over, but we can make little hoop houses in our raised beds, or if you have containers, you can cut the bottom out of the milk containers, your milk jugs, and clean those real good, and cut the bottom out, put the lid on, or don't put the lid on, put some little holes in it or not, and just put that on top of your container. Wind chime. I love my wind chime. I feel like the angels are with us when it's chiming, even though it's just the wind. That's what they always say, right? It's just the wind. Anyway, so we can do little hoop houses. What I do, and I'll show you in a minute, is I put little PVC pipe inside of my raised beds, and then I will get, you can order on Amazon or garden centers or Johnny's or whatever, you can order the plastic hoop covers for your garden. Or what I do, because I'm a last minute gardener, is I'll just run to the hardware store and get some plastic painter's drop cloth, and it's really thin, but what you can do is, if it's not too cold, you can just put one layer, and the colder it gets, you can add layers or take away. And so I really like that. I feel like I have a little bit of a temperature control type situation when I do that, when I use the drop cloth. If I buy the 5 mil, 6 mil, 8 mil, whatever from the garden centers, it's kind of, that's what it is, and you can add to it, but it's going to be pretty heavy. So we have mild winters. We really don't get a whole lot of snow here in Middle Tennessee, even though they're calling for a pretty rough winter this year. So I'm thinking I'm going to get my hoops ready, get my beds ready. I did not get to amend my beds. I am looking at, I'm actually going to buy a truck. I'm trying to win a truck, but I'm going to buy a truck. So I can go and get mulch and dirt and all kinds of stuff, because you really need a truck on the homestead. And I've kind of just been using the back of my SUV. It's quite dirty, messy, nasty. Yeah. So getting a truck so that I can do all that hauling and amending, so that'll help me work better in my garden. So the homestead is growing again. We're adding a truck, and yes, I've already named it. It's Henrietta. Henrietta, get it, chickens. So yeah, I have to haul their feed and litter and everything, so Henrietta. But anyways, I'll introduce you to Henrietta when she is in my my driveway. Then also, so yeah, we'll go to the garden and I'll show you the hoops and we'll talk about that. But I hope that I'm encouraging you to go ahead and get started planning on your garden. We really need to do that. We need to know, you know, are we going to have a big garden? Are we just going to feed ourselves? Are we going to share with others? We need to start planning the amounts, what kind of room we're going to need for each plant. I know I'm really guilty of trying to cram a bunch of plants in one bed, and that's probably not the best idea. I probably don't get as much harvest as I could because I do that, especially like my squash and my zucchini. I always end up putting more in that bed than I really need because they really get huge, right? I could probably just put 2 in each, really one of the big beds, and it'll take over and it'll probably produce a lot more. I did get quite a bit last year, not as much as I would like, but I did get quite a bit, and I was able to share. So that's the important thing. I want to have enough to share. So we need to plan that. How many plants am I going to put in each bed? And then once we get to the point of seed germination, we can see how the seeds are doing, and if they're not doing so well, then we can start planning on how many plants are we going to buy from the greenhouse. So that is the goal for this season. It is, the temperature's starting to drop. I'm sitting on my back porch, but the temperature's starting to drop, and so I'm going to grab a jacket. and then I'm gonna take you into the garden so we can look at what's going on, that crazy mess out there, and see what we need to do, start planning on what we need to do in the garden in terms of cleaning it up, getting it ready for the next season and for seed starting. Okay, y'all, let's go. This is real time here. All of this here was up against my shed, and I've got to get that painted, so I thought I'd pull it all out before it got too wet and muddy, and spring came and weeds started growing and such. So all that's been pulled away so that I can prepare when spring comes, or some warmer days, drier days, I can get this painted and get that finished out. So as you can see, I have tools out. One day I'm hoping to have like a garden shed next to the greenhouse where I can keep all my tools in the dry, and my ladders, my rain barrels. We're going to get to that on another video. We're going to do some water catchment. Yeah, I feel like it's Sanford and Son's backyard over here. Anyway, so got started painting on the side here, had to pull everything away from it, and then it got too cold to paint. So here is the garden in disarray in its winter sleep, I guess you would call it. There's some green over there. That's crazy. Anyway, so it's quite depressing. The garlic is hanging on, baby. It's hanging on. That did get planted, and my chives, they're great. They're going to come back. But as you can see, the garden needs some raking. I need to cut this back so that the roots can concentrate on growing. It looks like it's trying to come back here, but this is the anise hyssop, and it probably dropped some seeds. Yep, look. Oh, that's awesome. So we'll have some little baby sprouts and stuff. I could get in here and weed and just start working. It is a warmer day, so I can start doing some work in the gardens, cleaning up the beds and getting them ready. Oh, we got lots of yarrow coming up over here. That's a good sight to see. But anyways, okay, so here's the hoops that I was talking about. So I don't even know what size this is. 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch, I don't know. But anyway, you just cut it to size, and then you can wrap the drop cloth over as it gets colder and colder. Just keep adding more layers. And I have bricks all around, so that kind of holds the plastic down. It's some work. Sometimes you got to keep an eye on it, because on the really warm days you can burn your plants and kill them, so you have to keep an eye on it. So sometimes, you know, it's cold when I go to work, and when I come back my plants have been dead because it got really warm in the day. So I have to be really careful that I'm not home all the time to sit and watch it, and neither is, you know, nobody else is going to watch my garden for me. So anyway, I hope that gives you an idea what you can do for some like little low tunnels, I guess they call them, low tunnels. But yeah, I need to get some more, but that's what I have done in the past to start seeds, and it's worked out. And I'm sure that you will have your, create your own method or copy this one. I don't care. Let's just get growing. So that's the horrible mess of the garden at this moment. Hey y'all, I just forgot to tell you, if you happen to have like a greenhouse like this little plastic thing here, I have this on my back porch, but it will come in handy. Let's see, comes up about my shoulder. So you can start seeds in that. It'll come in handy if you want to start seeds in this. It has a zipper. It comes in a little box, and you have to put it together, of course. It has little racks in there, shelving racks, and you could hang lights in there. You can put warming mats in there to keep your seeds warm. This could be a really good setup. You might want to find a nice sunny place for it, or like I said, you could hang lights on the top parts of the racks and then put warming mats in there. And I may try that to see how we can get these seeds started a little early. But that is another option if you don't want to put it out in the sun. I did have one of these before, and I had it out in the sun, and I did start seeds really well with it. It worked out really well, and the seeds were very productive. The only problem I had was because we're in Middle Tennessee, we do get some really strong winds here sometimes tornadic weather, and so it did come with stakes to stake it down. The first kind of mild wind kind of blew it around a little bit, so I got some really heavy duty stakes, and that kept it in place. Now the wind might get up underneath the plastic and pull the plastic off of it, so there will have to be other measures, but it did work out really well for me. I might try the warming mats and lights this year and keep it on my back porch and see how that works. But that's another option if you want to start seeds in the winter time. This is January, so I may start February, beginning of mid-February, and see hopefully March, April. Sometimes it snows in April. Do you know that song by Prince? Check it out. Anyway, I'm a big Prince fan. Anyway, so you may try that depending on your area, but that's another option. So maybe give it a chance. But I hope I've encouraged you to go on and get started planning your garden for the new year. And Happy New Year, by the way. So glad that you came back, and I'm excited to see what the new year has to offer, what our Lord is going to bless us with this year. And there's a whole bunch of Homestead festivals coming up, so I hope that you all will look, I guess, on Facebook or YouTube, or whoever you follow on YouTube should be announcing the festivals. There is the Homesteaders of America Festival in Virginia this year. I think it's in October. Come out. Hope we'll see you there. And then there's the Homestead Festival in Columbia, Tennessee. So yeah, I hope that you will seek out, get as much education as you can, support your local homesteaders, buy, sell, trade local, barter. Let's support our homestead groups and community, because they are going to be the ones supporting us if anything gets crazy. So hope it doesn't, but if it does, you know where to go. Anyway, thanks again for coming by, and I hope to see you soon. Happy homesteading.